Okay. All right, everybody. I'm over here in the club. Got somebody behind me there. We'll talk about her later. Okay, that's the other guy behind me. He's actually to the front. But okay, so I'm here with Trenton. He's been nice enough to write some questions down, and I've got a pool of questions he can choose from as well. But go ahead and let you talk to Trenton.
All right. Well, I'm Trenton, and like Jim said, we've kind of been planning on doing this for a while. So I'd like to kind of get into it and start asking some of the questions that we have. Um, so I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Now wait a minute.
okay. Are you ready? Okay. When you're writing this stuff, is it because you enjoy it, or is it because it's something that you just need to get out? And getting out, what is that? I
Okay.
guess I should
What
say.
does that look like?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't write to release. I don't have any anything like that going on. I do like psychological horror. I like to think of a lot of what ifs. Just look at things a little bit differently. I have a notebook with me almost all the time. I like to write stuff down. I have phone, my stylus on, and send myself messages as well. Just depends on what's happening. Pretty much have something with me at all times. No, just sometimes they pop into my head. Other times it's notes that are hidden somewhere until it's time to write.
Okay. So those are things just life in general inspires you to write, gives you ideas, and you jot those down on a notebook.
I might see something on the way to the store, going to a friend's house, going out to eat, trip there and back. Just something if I find it interesting, something that catches my eye that's different. Can't be the only one that catches that kind of stuff, but I might be the only one that pays attention to it. So I'll
Sure.
take that and write it down and revisit it.
Okay. Okay. So going along with this, how much of the characters in these books are part of you?
There's a couple. There's a couple. I wouldn't say I base any on myself, but I do pull on some experiences. I think that's one of the cool things about writing. One of the cool things about writing is that if you can pull from experience, you can actually hopefully describe and explain instead of just describing somebody hammering a nail in a board. If I was a carpenter, it might seem a little bit different to me. If I was somebody who watched somebody, you would eventually understand that person has probably another job, does other things, maybe even hammers with impunity. Maybe it takes him two hits to drive it in. I know a couple of guys that do that and be accurate. Um, Maybe it's going to be somebody that taps, tapper. So those are annoying.
Huh?
I hate
You hate tappers.
I hate tappers.
That's interesting because I mean if you're looking at all different aspects of say just the hammering of the nail. Um, so have you always had that thought process, or was this kind of a maybe a learned trait or something learned through writing some of your books that you've done before?
Attention to detail just comes to mind. Um, just because you have attention to detail doesn't mean that you're creative, right? It means you can, somebody might have studied the manual or know. I have got a couple of relatives that actually read the manuals of anything they buy, like
Hmm.
anything. They might be able to get into super detail. It might be common to them. To me, it literally reads like serial instructions from the 80s. I can almost not, and if it is the comes from the store with the capital letter I that ends in an A, then there's no way that I'm going to figure that out. So it's too difficult. But having said that, once I do something to experience it, or once I just look at it, I can actually visualize. You can give me a description, you can give me a setting or something that you want to talk about, and I can see it. Picking out paint, sizing of a room, will furniture fit? those are some things recently that's come to mind, and those answers are yes. I do all that. Now, if you were to ask me about the specs of the couch, and if it's two love seats would be better than two chairs and a sofa, I don't know.
Hmm.
I'd have to kind of think about that. But when I think about that, I can actually see it. I just have to work through those.
Right. Right. So when you're thinking about these things and you're writing these books, do you think about what maybe other people are going to think about it, or what they're going to say about it, or what if they're going to have a problem with it or not? And if so, does it matter? Or does that just kind of prompt you to write even more and better? Sorry, too many questions at once, but
No, it's awesome. I'm trying to think. As funny as you kind of lead into that, how not to offend anybody, turn anybody off. But no, I won't change the way I write for someone individually. And on the inverse of that, I don't I don't go ahead and look for necessarily the demise of Trenton, if you will. I won't plan that, even though I have done some notes on that. Got a couple of creative ways that you might bite it. Not everybody lives in my books, but as far as that goes, I don't have a checklist or a box. I don't have a list of triggering or effects. I would like to think that if you read my works, that you leave with something that lingers, that something bothers you or scary. I hope that that's the reason that you were curious, call it dark curious, to get in there and check it out. But I want to work on that and always strive to do better. But no, I don't. Pretty much hit on some racy and some topics of discussion. I've written 5 books so far, a couple more in the works, and it's I don't have a silo of what I enjoy. It's just for psychological horror, what happens, pretty much what basically what one person could or would do to another if they saw a chance or opportunity, if something pushed them,
right,
whatever that cause may be.
sure. So when you're sitting down, you're writing these things, and you're building a story. Is it already built, or are you figuring out as you go? As you're writing along, you add things in there, I'm sure. But do you have the beginning and the end already figured out in your head?
Not often. Not often. I like to consider myself a collector of stories and tales, so I'll get those things, I'll write them down, and I'll think on that, and I'll go about my everyday life.
Hmm.
Right? I'll continue a project I'm working on. Right now, I'm maintaining my website, trying to get my work out there to be seen. So I'm kind of designing that, spending some time on that, and if anything hits, if I think of anything when I'm doing this stuff, I'll just write it down.
Right.
That'll be close for me to do. But Ref Reality is the first book that I wrote. It took quite a while, and then when I finished it sat. I didn't touch it at all. Didn't have the ending, so it sat there till it just came one day.
How long did that take?
That was on my water cooler for about 3 years.
Really? Wow.
So it was all done on camping trips, at work, on break rooms, on paper and pencil. So
Yeah.
the horror of that horror story is the fact that I had to transcribe and read my own handwriting, my own notes, and then type it in. That's horror. But kids nowadays
Yeah.
don't even learn cursive, from what I understand.
Right.
So I consider myself lucky, and then that's my own code.
Mhm.
I could probably write something that nobody would be able to read for one way or the other. But no, so some of that stuff hits. I would say that in one of my stories, Picking Murphys, that went really smoothly. Vacation to Murphys, California. And when I say smoothly, I mean kind of front to back. Notes went down really hard. And the only thing I didn't have is something that would carry the story forward. Enough characters, maybe enough drama for sure. I had some end. I had a lot of middle, but had to get you there as a reader. So that took a little bit of time. But when I was writing Picking Murphys, I actually had some ideas for another book. So it
Yeah.
just because something pops in your head doesn't mean that it's going to fit.
Yeah, that was going to be another question. Yeah,
It doesn't always fit.
does one story lead to another, but one book lead to another book? You know. And, okay.
I have a First Responder is a trilogy. I actually have 5 books, 1 published, 2 that are waiting representation, and 1 book that is just about finished, and the other one is outlined and drafted. So yeah, they can go from one to the next. The hardest part used to be having characters alive at the end to make that.
Right? Because it is horror, right?
It's horror. Not everybody dies.
Not everybody lives.
Not everybody lives. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Reverting back to the question before this one here, in your writing and your audience, let's just say nobody liked your books, would you still be writing?
Oh yeah, I'm writing.
Just something this is something you like to do, and no, it doesn't matter who's these whatsies and who likes what.
I have read Bereft Reality 3 times.
Right.
And I would like to quote Beetlejuice and say that it gets funnier every time I watch it. And I say watch loosely because that's spontaneous. I don't know where that came from. But I would like to think adaptation is out there for me. I have a certain flavor of darkness, a certain way that I write. But yeah, I like to write. I use the journal. I found recently, people close to me really know yet, all the letters I wrote home when I was in basic training in the Army, all the letters I wrote in advanced individual training, AIT, all of them. From Mom, I made a mistake, to what can we do to get me home, to hey, this is great, I may not talk to you for 2 weeks, can't say why, that kind of stuff, right? But so my writing, if you read
Hello, Mother. Hello, Father.
If you read me and you go through the order of my books, starting from Bereft Reality, I'm not going to name them all. That's not what this interview is about. But if you go, you will see my writing change. It's not always for the better for everybody, right? But for me, the enjoyment, the description, the way that I've gotten feedback and discussion and interviews and had some readings and signings that have just been spectacular. They've been great. So I always take something away, no matter where I go. If you're going to talk to me about anything, and it's something I have a care or concern about, then I'm going to remember that. I'm going to write it down. And so some good stuff. There's no such thing as bad publicity. There can, however, be bad feedback, and that's okay, right? So when I do something and I ask a friend or a reader or a friend who's a reader, to review me or to go through, it's not always because I care about what they say. What I'm looking for as a writer is I care more about what they don't say. Because some of my friends will trigger. Actually, I used to think that, no, everyone just throws it at me. You suck. This is wrong. A friend told me that somebody came in one door and left through another. I'm really stickler for continuity and figuring that out. So I had to prove them wrong. And yes, I was correct on that. So I'm really good on that kind of stuff. But so feedback is good. I always listen to it. But if someone says it's triggering, or I don't like that you wrote about this, then I'll be okay. I appreciate that. I'm not going to say I'll do better or I will change. I won't take that scene with the boy or the mom or the adult or the dog or whatever that was triggering or upsetting. I won't take it out, but I will revisit it and see if there's anything that I might want to change.
Yeah, right.
So I can always make it worse. I will try to make it,
sure.
Scarier.
So what is the hardest to do when you're writing these books? Is it harder to start it, or is it harder to finish it, or are they both about the same?
Sometimes the harder part for me is making my 3 things work that I want to work. They don't mesh. Sometimes they don't mesh. And sometimes I do something to a character and he changes or she changes. So and it's okay for characters to start off hard and to get soft, or to actually have no care, and all of a sudden you find out that they have a mom or a daughter or something that personalizes the character. So I like to personalize a character when I want to do that. And just because I don't give a lot of description doesn't mean that they're not important. What it means is they're not important right now. So choose to circle around. That person will come back in book 2, the sequel. Maybe that character will escape one book and come into another.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, the hardest part for me is possibly also the easiest part. I'm an independent author, so I don't have deadlines and time constraints.
Right.
So I can literally.
You can spend your time working.
Yes.
On it and thinking.
And I can stop.
Yeah.
If something infuriates me or frustrates me, or I'm just not thinking, I've never stopped and said I don't want to do this. I cannot finish. I've stopped and put things on the shelf because it's not time. It's not ready. So so yeah,
it's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you said changing your characters and things of that nature. You've got vampires, you've got monsters, you've got psychopaths. Is there any other thing that maybe these characters in your books would change into? I don't know, werewolves. I don't know if you want to go that route, or creatures from the lagoon, or what have you.
So the monsters that are the truest monsters, the ones that bother me, that don't keep me up at night because I eat that shit up. But inside people, that's the worst. Inside people's minds, inside what somebody will do or has been pushed to do, maybe is capable and they don't know. People say all the time, I don't know why, I just did something. And that something could have repercussions. It could be damning. It could be really, really hard. But in one of my books, there is, let's see, I think I do. So there is a little bit of wolf action going on. There, of course, is the vampire. The vampire, I like to say, vampire changes into a person. That's because that you really can't tell. For the most part, you can't tell, right? So I like to say when they're doing the things that they need to do, they can still be a person because people do the things that they do every day. So, but as far as monsters, if you have to do anything sci-fi, anything where skin inside of a skin, if you will, other than a vampire being able to change to a wolf, a person be able to change to a vampire or a wolf, whatnot. So nothing like that. Inside of people is the darkest, scariest of monsters. So I haven't had to reinvent the wheel.
All right. So what differentiates your vampire books and your monster books and your psychopathic books from some of the other writers that are out there?
Everyone has something that they do maybe well, or just maybe different, and hopefully different and done well. I work on a lot with, wouldn't say the inner mind, but what people can change into as far as what their actions do. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of descriptions. Well, there's times where I will lead up with descriptions the way some authors lead up with blood. It's a good reference I like to throw around a little bit. So it's not necessarily how many bodies that are strewn around. It's how many that you don't see now. It's where they are now, where I left them, where I put them for you to find later. So.
Okay, that makes sense.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much that as far as that goes.
All right.
I didn't answer everything. You can.
No, you did. That is a different aspect because a lot of times if you're looking you're thinking and you're looking, horror movies and that type of thing. It's the first thing is it's killer slash, and you start taking a body count, right? So you're saying in your books, you look at it kind of differently as far as, hey, I could have killed 10 people already, but you just don't know about it.
It's kind of character driven,
Yeah.
as opposed to the end result. Now, you will see that kind of stuff in my books. This is going to be described differently. If you were watching a movie, you might know something's coming from sound,
The music.
from the music, the score, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe simple sound effects, maybe not hearing anything. That's what I love. Something different. Quiet is just about dear to my heart as anything. Noise, whatever. But sometimes the way I write is the description. So when that description starts to get sideways, that's when you have to watch out. I have some pretty awesome dream sequences where somebody will experience something. Something will happen, and then it'll be like a reset.
Yeah.
It's not a reset. It's actually, I'm not going to tell you, Jorge plans everything, and then in his mind, he's back in his kitchen table, and there's the knife in front of him again. Okay, he goes out, comes back in, the knife's in his hand. He goes back in the kitchen, puts it back in the block, comes back. He's back in the kitchen, he grabs the knife. So, okay, so maybe I just had Jorge kill 5 people. I didn't describe them to you right now. Maybe Jorge likes cheese. Maybe he can't find his cheese. All right, he's got the knife. He did some cheese.
Okay,
Did I tell you about the cheese? No, because I chose not to. So when I build with that description, look for the cheese. Wait for something that's either not there or something that hasn't. I've chosen not to show you yet.
So how many times have you been in the middle of that, writing that, and just been like, I'm gonna tear this thing apart. I'm going at it. I'm gonna go at it a different direction, or I'm gonna go at the same direction, but I'm just gonna do it differently. I'm gonna talk about the cheese.
Yes. Okay. So Bereft Reality. It's the first book that I published. It's so large. Should have been. I didn't know any better when I first started. I know a little bit better now. I like to think, but when I first started, they only asked me a couple of questions about what I did and what I did not do. So I pushed a lot of buttons. I got away with a lot in Bereft Reality.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that it's got a pretty good following now, just because of what it entails, what it does, how it progresses. I've had, I think, 6 or 7 people just read separate pieces of that. I've had a couple people tell me they're not going to read anymore until I tell them what the F is going on. And I'm like, look, did you get this far yet? They're like, no. I'm like, I gave the book back. Finish it. Okay, so in Bereft Reality, a couple characters I actually rewrote, because when I went and did something, I actually got a different response. That they did something when they went into the room, mm-hmm. and one person was already inside the room. Something different happened. Just came to me, so I rewrote that. Okay. So I won't just send it
apart. You came back.
To it. Yep. I actually changed. If, for example, to oversimplify it, if a character started to like red, and they were wearing blue, and if this was important, then I would go through and I wouldn't just change, all instances of blue to red. Mm-hmm. I would go back and revisit that and find out why. And then I would throw my descriptions in, and whatever popped in my head, I would change that. So, Bereft Reality, I think, since that was my first,
okay.
Some people would say that, you did that because you weren't organized. No, I had notes on that thing forever. Mm-hmm. Just, I had to go through and think about. And everything from Bereft Reality that's in the notes did not make it into the book. I have all my notes written out. Everything just didn't fit. It just didn't. It wound up on the floor. Take from the movie, if you will. But there you go.
Some of your first books were of vampires, right?
The third one, yeah.
The third
and fourth.
What made you land on a vampire? What was your thought process on that?
I love classical horror, B-grade movies. black and white vampires with the vampire slowly moving left and the smoke is going right. Just things that you watch in a movie that people that have attention to detail or just love the genre just notice. They notice things. They tear it up online. I'm hoping to be tore up online one day soon. Like that. But I just love the classical vampire. The mist, floating through areas, going through cracks.
Slugging the blood.
Yes, I talk about that as well. Talk about that. But as far as that goes, the classical, I love the capital U movies. I'll just leave it at that. I won't mention anything like that. I watch a lot of those. That's kind of where everything started, in a way. And
So,
capital H as well.
any of your books that you've been writing, while you're writing them, does they mess with your head? Are you feeling something like strange? You're like, oh wow, maybe I've gone a little too far, messing with my own head on this one, or something like that.
The heinous is triggering to me. The heinous writes about there's addiction inside there. There's a lot of of physiotherapy, a lot of health in there. I'm kind of fighting some feet issues myself, so some of this I drew upon. The most disturbing thing, really, wow,
It's all right, man. You're good.
crazy. So yeah, okay. The heinous has got some medical stuff in there that kind of bugged me a little bit, but I didn't invent somebody that had some of the same symptoms as I. Nobody in that book has exactly what I experience and go through, but I was able to pull from that.
Well, okay. So in turn, right? You got something there messing with your head. Well, what is it that you're wanting the audience to feel? What are some of the things you're wanting them? Do you want them to kind of feel a lot of the stuff that you're feeling while you're writing these books?
Well, I like to write for the genre. I like to go through and
I'm about ready to ask you a different question on that.
Okay, that's
here
fine.
Too, but go ahead.
That's good. We'll just do several more, then a couple more, we can stop.
Yeah.
So, what's the question again?
I was wondering what are you wanting your audience to feel?
All right. So yeah, I want you to leave with something. I want you to have. I want to linger. I want my descriptions to be like, wow, you were there. And I've had people tell me that. I've had people.
They were inside the book. They were feeling what you were writing.
They liked. They liked some of the. One person liked something that I had to describe a very bad burn in one of my books, and of course, well, I'm gonna say of course, but I haven't experienced that. So the of course part comes in that I cannot do justice to that because I haven't, haven't experienced a major burn over a high percentage of my body.
Right.
But I've talked to people that have, and it's disturbing.
Yeah.
It really is. I tried to do it justice. I think I did.
You do some of your research. Do you do some research like this?
Yes. Yeah.
For your books, like
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not just watching scary movies, suspense movies. That is helpful.
That's interesting.
As well. The documentaries are really neat because I can watch it, and of course, when you watch documentary, you're getting a person or a group of people's opinions. So I treat a documentary as someone's very passionate about something, whether or not I am that passionate or not. So I've taken some stuff from there for that. So personal experiences, I've been robbed at gunpoint, been cut, feet issues. Those are some things that I have thrown in my books as it fit.
Right.
But no, I don't have I'm really big on not having checkboxes. So if I write about something, it's because I thought it would fit, not because it's time for me to put in more of this. So that if it doesn't fit, then kind of like what we talked about earlier, it's going to stay behind in notes. You get one more question, maybe two, as long as you don't make me cry.
I'm still. I'm sorry. I actually have several more questions. That
Okay,
I,
well,
I
we're gonna break
really,
this up.
really
We'll,
want to
we'll ask
really
them
want
ones.
to ask
Ask
it.
them. We'll knock those out now, and
Okay.
then we'll do the rest
I
of
only have maybe
another
two
time.
more, and
Then
then
go with this.
and yeah, and
Okay.
and it's a lot that okay.
Okay.
How do you keep? Here's a quick question for you. How long do you keep? How long do you plan on keep writing? Is it something you want to do like for the rest of your life, pretty much, and because you enjoy it so much, and
I have 1, 2, 3. I've got at least 5 books in me that are in various stages of notes and completeness. I have several books that are already ready to go that I'm holding on to for a portfolio. I'm
so you
making
got some future plans on some things
Yep,
there.
making a grand effort to not indie publish. I'm not going to be somebody that shoots out 80 or 90 pages and publishes an ebook only. I love hardness.
Mm-hmm.
I love a hardcover book.
You
They
know,
can
a
be
hard
used.
cover
They can
book,
be used as weapons.
right?
You can thump somebody with them. They're great. I love them. So not all my books are in hardcover.
Right.
They're not. Most are all are in paperback, and all are ebooks, but not all are hardcover. So yeah, I like a good thumping, and I've felt a good thumping before. So those books
Okay.
are great. I really like that. But so it's not just sequels; it's just stories that I've started and that I want to do. But I like to fish. I like to go hiking. Some of this stuff I can't do as much or at all with my feet right now. Still fighting with that.
Yeah.
But as far as the other stuff, I like video games. I like social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I do a lot of information scouring books.
Right.
I haven't gone to a library in quite a while, but I really do still. Libraries have books,
Yeah.
not just on the internet. I like to physically go in a library. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. I like it.
But I mean, that's just something that I care for. So yeah, I write because I like to write. I guess somebody would say I'm going to stop doing it when I cease to enjoy it. But it would be nice for me to actually watch a
Makes
movie.
sense, right?
I haven't watched a movie or series for fun in months.
Since
I used to
since
watch.
we
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah. I mean,
movies.
it's I haven't finished other than watching a couple series that I follow, and not even finishing those.
Yeah.
For the full season.
So
No.
so your genre right now that you're writing, you consider it horror fiction, right?
Yeah.
Any plans on maybe switching that genre to something else?
I would.
Strictly horror or horror true, stories.
I would be more apt to do something science fiction. I think.
Science fiction. Okay.
Now I do have one of my projects that I have is actually a fantasy world, characters and monsters and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That is all the notes are done. I just have to go through and tie it in together and figure out who's going to make it to the end and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I love fantasy. I grew up with that famous couple guys that sparked the imagination with Dungeons and Dragons a long time ago. Really enjoyed that. My dad even got in and tried to be dungeon master. That was tragic.
I was gonna say
That was tragic. And
how
you
did
know
that
what?
go?
I had to. It's like paying for something. Okay, everybody, paying for the regular basic because that's all there was back then. You do the math. When I bought that with my own money, I had to get from grass and dishes back when kids did chores.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have cell phone back then either. Believe it or not.
Right.
When I did that, and I gave that money to my dad to go ahead and get that for me, he just couldn't do it. It's just I liken it to the movie Office Space, where the guy. Some people may get this quote, they may not. The guy selling magazines door to door. They start asking him all these questions, and finally they pressure him. He gets all nervous, and then he starts talking normal, very educated. He was like, I talk like this, and I think that you need to buy my magazines. And then he goes, you wouldn't believe how many magazines I sell doing this. The guy, it's all about perception, right? And
Right,
he was
right,
a
right.
salesperson at heart. That's what he did. Did he enjoy it? Like he enjoyed the money,
Yeah.
right? So yeah. So that is everything right there.
Yeah. I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
I know this has been a long,
I don't mind.
drawn out process, but
As long as I
um,
get three more, because I paid you with cheeseburgers.
yeah, okay. I thought it was chicken wings,
No,
but anyway,
cheeseburgers.
all right. Going back to the beginning, how did you come up with your pen name,
You mean Peggy?
Peggy Landers?
Okay. At the time, excuse me, I was well into peripherality. My notes were done to the most extent. I had a bunch of scenes. I had a middle, I had a beginning, I had the end. Just didn't have a good way to get there. So I needed to have my reader get there. But it had to be the way I wanted to take them. It wasn't the easy one. So one day driving home from work, it just hit me. My book would be better if it was written in a woman's pen, a woman's name. It will be taken better, maybe perceived. Peripherality is extremely triggering. It's high tension. It's on almost all female cast. I'd say cast. Maybe someday it'll go further and be adapted. But almost all women, like the guys, they are there to support the women. They're either not going to live, they're not going to make it, or they're done. They're there to highlight, not necessarily to protect. Most of the women do not need protecting. It's just that they are showing a different side for character development, for what a character, what a woman does. Self-esteem, extremely triggering. Yeah, I can skew that, and I'm sorry to some, and you're welcome to others because it's fantastic. It's my favorite, bar none. So,
Interesting.
having said that, side of the road, I pulled over, and the first name that I saw on something said Peggy. Or I heard it on the radio. I don't even remember it to this day. All I know is that Peggy popped in my head. So I pulled over on the side of the road, and I went and I looked at my phone and I scoured domains, and I found like two or three companies that did. I picked. Won't mention their name now. You guys can find out who that is. No big deal. They've been with them for years. I think I saw the other day. It's been over 12 years since I've had it. But so to this day, people say that Peggy is in my basement. Peggy is locked in my basement. That I have Peggy, and I had fun with it. So it's on my website, which I
It's not an
mentioned
alter
about.
ego or anything like that.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay,
Not
all
at
right.
all. PeggyLanders.com. Peggy Landers is the name that I was going to go with. I still may. So
Mhm.
so whatever I choose to do, just be looking for that. But I had fun with that on my website, PeggyLanders.com.
Yeah.
It's a good balance of work and play. You'll enjoy it. But
Mhm.
but yeah, a lot of people actually will not go in my basement. I had a couple people agree to interview me. At the time, I was set up in my basement. They're like,
I ain't
I
going down
think
there.
one was no. I think one was hell's no, not going to do it. And this girl to this day, uh, love her to death. She's a great colleague at where I used to work at. And she was like, I'd love to do this, but I don't want to be on camera. I'm like, done. She goes, I'm not coming in the basement. I'm like, come on, all my stuff is there. And the guy, not allowed to have stuff upstairs. And nope, wouldn't do it. So to this day, and you know who you are, I will come for you. I will come for you.
All right, one more question, and we'll call it quits. But are the same things that inspired you to start writing, are those the same things that are inspiring you to write now, or have they changed or evolved?
Motivation? I always thought, and I've threatened to actually write about a week in my feet.
Hmm.
What I do, what happens. Doctor visits, the bereavements, which you probably spelled that word actually. It's horrible. I can definitely describe it in great detail. You do not want. Plus, this is really cool. Pictures. I can document almost the whole process a couple times. Boom. So yeah, we won't. But as far as the motivation goes, it's just if I have a story to tell. A long time ago, I saw a couple of movies that I thought, hey, that's awesome. But I wonder what happened. I wonder what more. I wanted more. And it wasn't because the stories were incomplete. The movies were not thorough. They actually hit a part. You look at the books and the scripts for some of those early stuff, and you can pretty much get a lot of movies that are out now. Some of the ones I like a lot are remakes of movies that were done in the 30s. Like people, I got original ideas. Come hither.
Yeah.
This, taking and giving the fourth flavor of something is crap. It's crap. Do it yourself. Put something down on paper, or find somebody that, oh, wow, I heard about this guy named James. Let's ask him a question or two. Great, but no, that their stuff is not that detailed, and some of those movies were really super short, right? So that goes to what I hate is super small books that come out when you write a story, and you just go flow. You're great. Things are matching. It's not truly cyclical, but you have a beginning and end of several people, and then that brings up something different. When you cut that down into 12 books, you've got a comic. That's it. And comics are great, believe me. But what I'm saying is that the attention span, something quick, something meant to be, it's not even complete or thorough. And it leaves more questions than it answers, right? That's because that's what they want to do, right? Because you know what? Volume 2 comes out next Friday. Great. Right for the weekend, right when you get paid. It's a business. Right? A lot. It's a business. My books are not written like that. My books are not. My first book, a couple of my books could have been broken up, one into three, a couple into two, at least one into two. And that's not the way I saw it. That's not what I wanted to do. But the thoroughness and completeness of that is out there. You can find stuff. Some people can argue that, hey, it's short, it's concise, it's not a Cliff's Notes. It's not something that needs to be written for instructions of like when you buy your stereo and you have all the instructions to set it up. It doesn't tell you the way I would do it. Here's a list of music you might enjoy with my new Radio 506V Vectra. This is where you can put it. Biggest room. Hey, extra speakers, get more amplifiers, do everything else extra. Put it in the instructions. Don't put everything piecemeal. What if you got your instructions and it only gave you the first 7 steps of 87? And you had to buy part 2 because you needed to know to how to put it together. Right? So you're putting a story together. I'm not going to make you get the first 7 steps and stop right there. You might get 96. A little bit extra. A little bit something. You might get some extra.
Something.
You might get some extra. But I really do enjoy writing, and I hope I can do it for quite some time.
Good.
Awesome.
All right. Sounds good.
So, Trent, are you ready to close? No last, double final questions?
I think we're good. I've covered a lot of ground here, I do believe.
All right. Well, everybody.
We have, I should say.
Yep. You're awesome. I love the questions. Most of them, unfortunately, or fortunately, I do not recognize where you pulled them from. Some of them I had a cheat list of things that I would just randomly just put, and when someone brings me a list of questions over and they only choose to ask 6 of the 15 questions, some other unfortunate soul gets those extra questions. So Trent's got some.
I got some leftovers.
Trent's
I got the leftovers.
Sloppy seconds of some questions people are just too damn scared to ask. All right, everybody. So PeggyLanders.com. Check me out. Got a lot of good influence there for you. You read about my books, upcoming projects. All that's on PeggyLanders.com. Have a great night.